can introduce their characters, I will put us
Hey, there we are.
on a nifty little token page, and we will start out
Okay,
with
that's who that is.
I have
Morgan.
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce your character.
Okay, well, my character is Abukir, and I know I typed up his name and sent it to Nap, and I can't even remember how to pronounce it. His whole name.
Oganor. Abukir Oganor.
Something. Word.
Word.
Word in long. That's all you need to know.
I saw.
Abukir is a Luxodon who is looks more woolly mammoth than a subtropic elephant like most people are familiar with. He's a young Luxodon at almost 120. He is incredibly intelligent and incredibly inquisitive, but he goes about it, he's about as subtle as broadside and awkward as hell. Stuff like our little expedition that he's taking part of is something that he has always wanted to do, and in his youth he was apprenticed to be like a history keeper, and then essentially got conscripted into the last defense of the village, acquitted himself quite well with a large hammer, and they said, you get to go to war school and you're not going to be a historian anymore. So he's really good at death, but it's not where his heart lies. So he's easily going to be the biggest character here and is the proverbial elephant in the room.
Something we will be happy to point out multiple times.
Oh, yes.
All right. Next, we have Bannon.
Oh, I don't need that. This is going to get in the way. Bannon Axzirar is a dwarven cleric of Ioun. So he is obsessed with knowledge. His parents were a wandering merchant group. Not terribly well off, not terribly poor, but, just kind of there. They were ambushed by some, I don't think I ever said, but they were ambushed by some creatures, and his older brother, the heir of his father, was wounded. So they were keep him stable enough to get to the nearest town, and the only healer was a cleric of Ioun, who took a great liking to Bannon. However, I don't even know how to pronounce his name yet.
Look at
I don't know. It's Dwarven. I don't speak Dwarven. It took a great liking to him and used him in exchange as an exchange of favors. Basically, they got rid of their fourth child and to the Temple of Ioun for training, and got the heir apparent healed. And he is a grouchy. He is more charismatic than the elephant.
Abukir.
But not by a whole lot.
Barely.
He is a stuffy librarian. He has spent the last 40 years being a librarian, studying. And the adventures that he's on, he doesn't want to be on. But, you have to have experience to get promoted. So he has to have fieldwork in order to move up in the order. Yeah. I still don't have a voice pickup for him.
You need 5 years of experience to get experience?
I got turned down for a job as a teller at a bank because I did not have money handling experience. I have 18 years experience doing everything else, but I have never handled money.
I.e., you were terrible with the customers.
It's all good. I got turned down because I forgot one to fix my credit.
All right.
Doesn't running a lemonade stand constitute as money handling?
I'm all going outside during the summer. I prefer to stay inside and play games and stuff like this.
All right. Next up, we got Andy.
Oh, that's me. My character's name is Andesite Dierte, spelled like the rock and like the dirt. She goes by Andy. She is an Earth Genasi. She has always been very introspective and curious about her surroundings. So it's no wonder that she's an artificer. She lost her family at a young age, and by that I mean literally they were up and gone while she was out in the woods one time. There had looked like there was a struggle when she got back to her home, but there really wasn't any clues as to what had happened to them. So she wandered about until there was a Genasi water tribe that she joined in. Of course, that as an Earth Genasi, she never really fit in, so she kind of stayed on the outskirts of that and just kept studying and learning about her surroundings until finally she came across a little dude, the little Mayfit, that she nicknamed Marbles, and I think she saved his life or something like that. And he agreed to just stick by her side no matter what, basically vowed to protect her. Likes to sleep in her pocket and enjoys eating cave crickets. He doesn't speak, but he comprehends and understands what she says. And he's also a stealthy and silent flyer, great for spying, and my own little guard dog. So Andy was hired to go on this expedition by some other folks, and she hired these three as her bodyguards because, well, she is a skinny little Genasi who is a nerd and doesn't seem to be able to protect herself easily in fighting styles. So she's like the leader of the group, but she's not particularly comfortable with that phrase. I don't really know what else to say about her.
And next we have the wonderful Senatier.
Yeah, Senatier. She is a half-orc druid. She's part of the Circle of Wildfire. She was, I'm going to keep this short because I hate talking.
You're fine.
But she was abandoned as a baby in the woods. They have no idea what her other 50% is, but she was literally looked after by wolves up until some druids found her and decided to raise her, and she showed some very interesting abilities, given that she's half orc and they're not exactly green thumb kind of people. So they chose to teach her everything that they knew, and she just kind of grew up doing her own thing in the woods and not really bothering anybody. But when she was in town and heard that there was somebody going into her woods, she decided to act as a guide, as she had a lot of experience. She's very, very well versed in the lore and myths of the area, and kind of has this foreboding sense of where they're going and doesn't really know why. And that's, yeah, we're just